Hi boys and girls. So I lost the audio for this video clip, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's happening here. I divided my paper up into thirds. I just kind of folded it into thirds so that I could practice drawing each of the examples of the outlines that they give you in the PDF, which is in the OLS lesson. I believe it's 4.7 part 1. Okay, so I'm just practicing here, and I'm going to talk you through how I did it in the other two drawings because I do have the audio for those, but I'm just kind of following the shapes. I'm looking at the picture, looking at my drawing, and trying to copy it as best I can. So this is a good strategy maybe just to do, one or two practice versions, see which one you like the best, which one is easiest for you before you get started on your final version. And it shouldn't take you too long to do the practice. For the second sketch, I'm looking at the example number 2, the middle one, from the book, but I'm also going to look at the example of the painting that Claude Monet did. Let me see what the title says, La Japonaise. So I'm going to look at that painting as well to get the shape, because it's a little bit different than the shape in the book, or in the OLS, in the PDF. So I'm going to start out with the base, and actually if I start out just where it starts to belt out, there's almost like a shape like this at the top, almost like a little rectangle, right? I can imagine it here. And if you look at the print on the dress, it almost looks like the top of like a mermaid or something. So that little area right here is kind of like a square, and then here it comes out and actually curves outward. Then it goes out straight, and then it curves down, but I want to find the other end first. So I'm going to go here, and this just really comes inward a little bit, and then goes straight out like this, and then they curve around and meet. Okay? Now, I know that the bottom part of the dress is puffy, so I don't want this to be like a hard edge in the corner. I want it to be nice and rounded. If you think about like your bed comforter, if you guys have a comforter, it's like that stuffed blanket. It's sort of like that at the very bottom. So there are also some folds in here that I think I can kind of map out with my pencil just for added little details. So now there's like a big image here drawn on here. Oh, it goes all the way up to here. And it fills this space, but I don't have to draw it like that. I'm just mapping it out for my own visual organization. So after this little bit, it comes up and it meets up at the top of the collar. And then here, it starts over about right here, a ways down the back where the big bell of the sleeve is. It comes down almost from the very edge of the back, and it curves down and then over and out, and then it goes up. It's really big, and then it comes up like this, and there's lots of wrinkles right here, and it kind of just comes up like this. So the neck is very broad, and then there are wrinkles in the sleeve, and her hand is here coming out and holding. Let's see if I can draw her little hand. Not very well, sorry guys. It's a little bit too small. Needs to be more. Hang on, you can fix this. So out and inward, and then it comes out here like that. And then her fan is in her hand. It goes up, something like that. Maybe a little even more belled outward. And then it has a design. So then here, her face is here. We don't even see her neck. Face is right here. And that's the outline for this. Okay? So I looked at mostly the painting. If you want to simplify it, you can look at the sketch outline in the PDF. Then I'm going to look at the last one. I'm just going to try to copy the sketch as best I can from the PDF in the OLS. So I'm going to start where the arm, I feel like I need to start where the arm ends because then I'm going to run out of room. So I'm going to start with the arms first. I'm going to do my big bell sleeve, come upward, in and up for the neck, and then I'll kind of round this out after. Erase that little corner. And then it gets more narrow as it goes in. So I actually want to make it a little bit bigger and then come upward and then come back out. Round it a little bit. Actually probably could come straight down so it looks even more flared out at the bottom. So it's a little more dramatic. And then I am running out of room here. Maybe I should just overlap them so you can see both. Then this comes out. I'm at the edge of my paper. I'm going to come back inward like this. And I'm not going to be able to even fit my other arm on this page. Actually, it's supposed to go a little bit more inward, but that's okay. Same thing. So then I would do my other arm here. Obviously, you'll have room on your paper when you have just one at a time. So I'm just going to do it like it's cut off there. So the neck is here. It actually looks a little bit wide. I'm going to bring it in. And then down here, create the shoulder. And then the head is turned on an angle. Like this. I'm not sure I love how this looks. It doesn't seem accurate. Maybe it's the shape of my head. Let's try again. So if this is where the neck is, the bottom of the chin was like right here. Something like that. Okay. So then there's that Y shape. I'm going to erase that a little bit. There's that Y shape here going from the bottom of the belt on the left up to where the shoulder and the neck meet. And then it makes a Y right here. Okay. So that's pretty much it for my sketches. So it's good practice. So now I would pick one to do large on the other page. Before we move on, I want to show you guys a couple of tips for drawing a self-portrait face. So it's going to be really small. It doesn't have to be highly detailed, but I actually want to show you how you can set up your face in order to draw your features the right size and in the right place. So this is an example. This shape is a big oval. And you're going to divide the entire oval in half, and that's where you're going to put your eyes. And you're going to divide that line to the chin in half, and that's where you're going to put the bottom of the nose. You're going to divide that line to the chin in half, and that's where you're going to put, the bottom of the mouth. Okay? And after you do your oval, you'll add your face shape, kind of modify it down. Your ears start at the top where the eye line is, and they usually end at where the nose line is. Halfway between your eye line and the top of the head, draw a line, and that's where the hairline will start. So let's talk about this. So if your face is on an angle, we want to keep it looking 3D and sphere. So you would draw a curved line. You're going to figure out where your face is facing, like where's your nose and where are your eyes and where's the middle of your face. So I could draw it like this, okay, curved, and say that this is going to be where my nose is. So then I'm going to draw a curved line like this for the eyes, divide it in half, divide this in half, that's where the bottom of the nose will be, divide that in half for where the mouth is going to go, and then divide this in half for where the hair goes. So I have to remember this middle line is where my eyes are going to go. Okay, then my nose, kind of fill into this spot. My mouth, the bottom of the mouth is here. And you want to remember it's curved, okay? And then you may want to kind of like shape out your face a little bit as well. So if I put the hair here, and then I'm going to shape the eyes as well. Okay, and now it looks a little bit more realistic, I'd say. It's not my favorite. I'd probably redo it again or just try to adjust things. I think the chin is kind of bothering me a little bit. So this is going to be my actual final one. And the pose I want to do, I'm going to copy the pose from Monet's La Japonaise. Okay, so I'm just going to start out lightly sketching, erasing where I need to, and then doing my guides, which I guess went by too fast, you couldn't see it. I did my guides and my face, and then used pictures of real kimonos to inspire my designs. Then I'm going to go in with a Sharpie and I'm going to outline everything, and then after that I'm going to erase all my pencil marks so I have a nice clean, almost like a coloring page. Now I'm going to go in with my crayons. Now there's also one thing I forgot to do, which is to draw the horizon line, which would be the end of the floor where the wall begins. So if you can almost imagine it, it needs to be starting a little bit further back above the bottom of the dress. So it could go here, and it would go behind your dress or your kimono. So it would go across like this. So you can imagine the floor there. You put the floor further away, so it's a much bigger space. So just keep in mind that whatever you do, it's going to change the dimensions of the room. So now that that's done, I need to begin coloring. So the OLS lessons say, add color to your self-portrait using crayons. Then at the end, you're going to brush a layer of paint over the entire paper. Okay? I'm going to change that a little bit because in Monet's painting, the kimono is a different color from the background. And if you want, you can do the background wall and floor could even be slightly different colors. So you want to think about the composition of the color of the kimono, the color of the floor, the color of the walls. So think about the colors that you want your kimono to be. You don't want your elements, like I have the crane and the flowers and the polka dots. I don't want the background to be the same color as those elements because then they won't stand out. So you want things to be a little bit different from each other. So think about what the main color of your kimono might be. Then think about the wall color should be different from the kimono, and same with the floor. You also want them to be a little bit lighter in color. You don't want them to be super bright because you really want yourself or your person to stand out with your kimono from everything else because that's the focal point. So here I'm painting super carefully. I'm actually going around everything because I decided to use colored pencils and even some pens, like colored gel pens, to color this, so I wasn't able to paint directly over everything. I also painted over the white polka dots right here, and they still kind of turned a pink color, so I decided to just go around everything. So it took me a really long time to paint, but I think that the final result looks so good that it was just worth doing the extra work. So you can take your time. If you get started a little bit early on this, then you should have more time that you can take your time painting. But you should be able to also, if you do crayon for coloring everything, you should easily be able to color over the crayon, just like we do in some of the other projects. So I have a couple of brush shapes. This is a flat brush, and that's going to be really good for going around these edges. So this is my finished project. I got really inspired and I did kind of a lot on mine, but you guys do you. Do what you like and do your best, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So have fun, enjoy the project.